I will mention the plaque that I've got at my house that outlines the way more than 25 hours on it that I've got in the school board training.
Really?
Yeah.
Did your wife make that for you?
I knew that was coming.
I was the medical professional of the year, so I'd like for you
My
just to.
Lord, here we go. Well, I would mention that, we did win the ball game just barely, Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really was dreading coming to this meeting if we didn't. I was like, she'll never let me live it down. But I did wear boots, just.
Yeah. One game,
It's
one
all it
point.
takes, that's all it takes.
Dang LSU fans.
I quit watching football.
Oh, I watched it till the end.
I'm on to basketball.
Hey, they're just like the Cowboys. It's the same.
I know, I get
Same.
heartbroken every
Same thing.
weekend.
Not anymore. I just expect it. I've got the point. I just expect it.
We're gonna get heartbroken tonight too.
Probably so.
Just move on.
My heart is not like, it's easier,
Oh.
it's not as easy, don't mourn as long now as it did.
11th and I love the Cowboys.
Yeah, we get it double. Golly.
I'm just about soon to be at a sheep shearing contest.
Tell you what, the Chiefs have fell on hard times. They might not make the playoffs. I can't imagine them not making the playoffs.
I think yesterday they're out of the playoffs.
Well,
No,
yeah,
they
right
got
now,
one
but
more.
if it falls right now they're out, but they might still get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a Chiefs fan, a lot of people are, but I'm not a Chiefs fan.
Yeah,
I think that they've got every break in the world for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yep, maybe.
This is me.
Well, Stacy, if it makes you feel better, Cowboys probably have better record than the same, so.
Well, they ain't much better than Razor Valley
That's a
record.
lot right there.
Cowboys need them quarterbacks.
They need them a lot of things.
That helps.
They're like Arkansas, they need somebody who can stop the run and stop the pass.
So they go to Jerry Jones, he just thought that he'd throw enough money in there and
Yeah.
did it, but, the players are just not performing.
I know, I think I need to thin mine out again.
Clean mine out here, those are stuff that Brandon
Oh,
called.
yes, I did.
Look at it.
It's a lot lighter, must have got one of those.
That's the stress balls I brought back.
That's all right. It's 5 o'clock, all right. Mr. Hughes, would you care to open us in prayer, please?
Dear Lord, again, we're extremely thankful for the opportunity that you've given to each and every one of us to be able to come out here this evening to once again discuss the business of the school. We're thankful for all the many prayers and blessings that you've answered for us so far. So far, we're having a successful year here at this facility. We ask you to continue to be with our admin, our teachers, and our kids, and continue to keep them safe as you've done in the past. Lord, as we make decisions here this evening, we pray that the decisions that will be made will be beneficial to this school, and that we have open minds and open hearts on each decision that we do make. Lord, again, forgive us for our sins. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. All right, so before we start with number 2 item on the agenda, we have Mr. Hollingsworth here. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, if I could.
Sure.
First, I'm Mark Hollingsworth, ones that may not know me. I see some familiar faces in here. Some people reminded me of some darker days in my career as a state trooper here. But one, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you and just take a little bit of your time. But I appreciate the job y'all do. I'm a former school board member at Mountain Home, the old master board member. I've got that plaque too. It's got I don't know if I can find it right now. But yeah, I've got that. And I'll tell you, I was really proud to be a member. We had it's kind of like, it's so good when you don't hear a lot of business coming out of school board meetings. And I think we did a lot of that when I was on the board because we had people that were interested in helping the kids and pushing the district forward. And probably the best service, one of the best service-oriented things I've ever done was being on the school board. It took me about a year to figure out the X's and O's and all the finance, but I really enjoyed doing what we did. I felt like we made a difference in the community. And I didn't run for it, it's kind of like running for sheriff. I didn't run for that one, I got appointed. But I really enjoyed that amount of service, and it just kind of gets you at the grassroots of it. My wife was teaching in the district, and I thought, man, that might be didn't bother a thing. It just gave me more insight of what was going on. But I appreciate what y'all do. I know sometimes it can be a really thankless job. And because especially now, I was back in the early 2005, 06, 07 period, and there wasn't as many of those keyboard rangers out there that could sit at a distance and take shots at you. So really appreciate what you're doing. But I am a candidate for the sheriff's position here in Baxter County. Tell you a little bit about myself, and I'll let you get on with the school business. I'm a retired state trooper, which is how I came to know some of y'all. But spent 35 years with the Arkansas State Police. Went to work in 1985. Baxter County was my initial assignment. I spent 35 years there. I retired as a major with the state police, and I was over the criminal investigation division when I retired for the entire state. I've got another 7 or 8 years business on the law enforcement side. I was a deputy in Pulaski County before I came up here, and since I retired in 2021, I've been the chief deputy over at Marion County. So some of those things that I didn't see every day or touch as a state trooper or an investigator, I've kind of touched on the other end of my life as not just a deputy, but as the chief deputy over at Marion County. I run the jail, patrol division, and the investigative side. So I've got a lot more background on that than I'd ever have as a state trooper. And believe me, running a jail is probably a lot like being a school administrator. There's so many changes that come up every day that you don't expect, and it's just one of those you kind of have to deal with it on the fly as you go. And we've been fortunate we hadn't had any big issues, but I'm telling you, it's easy to put people in jail for 35 or 40 years. But run the hotel that they stay in is a completely different animal. So I've been fortunate to work with a really good sheriff over there and learn some things about doing that. As a police administrator, there's some things that I've looked at, that I've pulled some things in that I want to do, and it's not just from being a trooper or a police officer for all these years. I spent 20 years in the military as well. I've been deployed to Iraq. I spent 20 years there, retired as a senior NCO. So a lot of the things that I bring to my vision at the sheriff's office comes not only from the law enforcement side, but also from the military side. A couple things as a police administrator that I'd like to see done. It's kind of like probably that school administrator, that superintendent. When you come in, there's a kind of an equation I look at. You look at personnel, equipment, and training. And those are the big three that it kind of tells you where you're at, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. And that's what I've done on this PET, this personnel and the equipment and the training. Probably the biggest thing that I'd like to see, transparency is a huge word. And I know y'all know that as board members. Everybody's got, that's kind of been the buzzword the last 2 or 3 years. And one of those things that has crept out at every meeting that I've been to or group that I've talked to has been on body-worn cameras. Body-worn cameras, I read an article the other day discussing them, and they put it simply, the only thing that's had more impact than a body-worn camera in police work has been a two-way radio. God, we've been talking to each other on two-way radio for 80 years now. So to put that much emphasis on it, that's a huge thing that I'd like to see implemented, and it's not going to hold you back by the price, by the operation. It's just a mandatory tool that you ought to have. They tried to make it mandatory about a year or two ago in the legislature, and it fell short. I think a lot of it is because some of the smaller rural agencies didn't have the money. But there's funding out there for it. It's definitely something that I'll push forward, if elected. The second thing would be on the training, and there's two things that if you're going to get sued at in law enforcement, it's going to be on use of force or how you drive. For years, the state police were having all these crashes and all these accidents, and it wasn't from running people off the road with these pit maneuvers. It was backing out of the coffee shop or a restaurant someplace, and that's where we started it. We went back and we trained the troopers how to drive, how to park, and how to just operate a vehicle regularly, and then we upped it up to where we're doing it now, or say we, the state police, are doing it on the pit maneuvers and different things like that. But if you're going to get sued, it's going to be on the use of force side or the vehicle side, so I think we ought to get some emergency vehicle operations as well as shooting. Right now, the sheriff's office shoots one time a year. That's kind of like going to an in-service one time a year, which would probably be great for a lot of the teachers. They'd enjoy that. That's a perishable skill, being on a firing range. In Marion County, we didn't shoot for almost 2 years before we took office. We shoot 5 times a year now, just because it's one of those things that you can lose. So picking up that end of it is the training is something that's really near and dear to my heart, that I think if we can look at those two areas that there's a lot of litigation involved in it, we can do that. The other thing that a lot of people don't see is those deputies, just like a police officer or a trooper, you can't unhear, unsmell, or unsee something when you go to a crash or a critical incident. And a lot of those men and women carry that with them back to the house every night. And they deal with it, and I can think of years and years ago, I worked a murder-suicide of a little boy down just way south of here, just leave it for the location. And I remember going out there, and it was very clinical to me to work that case because I've worked them for years. And you do that, but over the years, You know, I've visited that, or revisited that crime scene a lot of times over the years, and I think back when I went through that, I didn't have that person to grab me and say, hey, you need to go do this. You need to go sit down and talk to somebody. You know, the shootings that I was in early on in my career, same thing. I said, you okay? You know, I was giving the thumbs up, yeah, well, you're back at work the next day. It's kind of progressed to the point now we don't do that. We bring that trooper in, him or her, we sit him down, we talk to him. Same thing with a police officer, because they carry that with them in each and everything they go. They carry that home to mom and dad, or they carry that to a basketball game, or just continue to eat on it if they don't, you know, they don't deal with it. So I'm huge on wellness, and I think, you know, not just the law enforcement community, but also the military community. That's something they look at on a large basis. The other end of the wellness is not just the mental end of it, being able to talk to somebody, but I heard somebody speak at a wellness conference several years back, and they talked about it in the early stages. They said somebody comes in, they've opened up the gym, or they've got a walking program, and they come in and say, hey, I've lost 45 pounds in the last 6 months by doing this wellness program. Well, not only are they a longer-term employee, they're healthier, and they're doing things like that, they just feel better all the way around. And the third one's financially. You know, police officers, as a rule, they may have a $70,000 pickup, but they're living in a shack. They don't do well on the financial end. And the other thing that grabbed me about this meeting, on this wellness training that we're at, this gal comes out, she says, this is even better than the fitness on the mental side or the physical side. You have a police officer go in, and he said, you know, I retired $47,000 worth of personal debt last year. I'll be able to send my kid to college next year. And what had happened when they brought that about, Dave Ramsey had come about, and they donated this, as they do all over the country, to the trainers within the police department. And they went out and they put this program together. So not only did they get the wellness on the physical end, on the mental health end of it, but they also got it on the financial end. And those are three big things that police officers could really, really improve that. As school teachers or anybody else. So, but that's kind of my platform. I'm looking at that. I'm a lawman. You know, you ask why I want to do this. I'll tell you what, I've been doing it so long that I don't know what else to do. But I had a lady at my church kind of tapped me on the back about a month ago, and she said, why do you want to do that? It's kind of like wanting to be on the school board. And then I had to speak.
Right.
Hey, thank you. But anyway, she asked me that, and then I had this really, you know, neat thing to tell her. And as soon as I started, my wife, with 33 years being a school teacher, stops me right there and just cuts me off. She said, that's what he does. That's who he is, and he's passionate about it. And I am, folks. I'm probably going to be that 75-year-old sheriff. You know, because I'm thinking a 75-year-old school superintendent's looking pretty well, you know, so that's just what I do. I've got a passion for it. And the other part of it is, I've been here since 1985. I've raised two girls that were, y'all bear with me, were proud lady bombers. And they've gone off, they've done well, they're grown up, and they're paying taxes now, and it's a good thing. But, you know, I'm one of those people, I think the best way that I can give back is through service. And I see a lot of that, we all sitting here too. But that's why I want to do it. Like I said, the community's been good to us. I go to church at the same place my kids were baptized and married at. You know, I'm a part of this community, and I've policed here for almost 43 years. And the only time that I've been away from here, you know, doing someplace else, is I spent 3 years in Little Rock. And I got back up here as quick as I could. So, but I know how to police up here, and I just ask, you know, y'all, if you get a chance to spread the word, be glad to come talk to any of the groups that are interested. And again, thanks for your time. Thank you so much for what you do here.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for coming. Okay, so next item on the agenda is the open discussion part of our meeting for anybody who signed up. Was there anybody that signed up for public comment? Okay, so the next item, item number 3, is to consider the previous month's regular meeting minutes and any special meeting minutes.
Well, they're looking at that, I want to tell you something. If you come on this campus, you drive slow, especially when the kids are out, or you try to get in your doors, you'll not make it. Somebody will stop you and pull you over. There's a policeman here on campus, and also there's a security guy in the elementary school, and he watches like 27 or 28 cameras, but every exit and is everywhere. You can't get in.
Do you get much work out of that guy, though?
It's mostly, I mean, the first time I came here, I brought my wife, and I was showing her food, and the janitor stopped me and said, sir, you don't have a pass on. And his wife said, "Stupid, that's our new superintendent." I said, "I'm sorry." I said, "No, you did your job."
Boy, Bubba, was it? Yeah, okay, that's where I'm going with that. Well, it makes a difference when you're used to it. too.
Sadly, that you have to do that.
I know.
There's no worries on our security guy. He harasses me every time he's here. Here he comes with his gun on it.
He pulls over, he'll call me, and then he'll call the police officer, and he'll stop them, and they'll come up here and see me, and won't know, why'd they pull me over? I said, "Well, you were driving slow through here when the kids were out. And we didn't recognize your vehicle. And do you have kids here?" He said, "I got a grandkid here." And I said, "So we're protecting your grandkid?" "Okay." And most of the time, I haven't had anybody throw a fit on me after I told them why.
Good.
Yeah,
Very good.
That's good.
sorry.
No, you're okay. Anybody have any questions about the finance reports or the, oh, I'm sorry, the minutes? The minutes.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the previous month's meeting minutes and any special meeting minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is to consider financial reports and bills.
Can I elaborate on this a little
Sure,
bit?
yes, please.
If you look over at the federal funds, there's some places in there that we have a negative, but most of those because we haven't received federal money yet. And the second, if you look down on the REAP, where the REAP is at 28,000, that's where we spend it and then we get reimbursed on it.
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at federal funds.
Federal funds.
On the second page, I'm sorry. And, but a lot of those there are, they have just not, we haven't got any. And there's, I think that part of that's because they've just been slow or not been processed or something. But, anyway, that's where we are there. And, I think everything else is pretty well normal.
Think we haven't received it because of the shutdown?
I don't know, part of it is just that they're slow, they've been slow this year. We haven't got a lot of the federal funds that we normally get by this time of year. And we're already basically a third of the year finished as far as that goes, as far as the money goes. But we're getting it, it's just,
Do you know
like pulling teeth.
Do you know if you talked to your brother quite a bit? Are they in the same boat?
Yeah. It's the same. I mean, I talked to him about a lot of things, and I talked to him about the ESA the other day. I looked at that and I saw we were in the hole there in the red, and I said, I called the State Department, and Angie heard me talking to him. She said, "Mr. Plains, I did 2 months payroll out of that this time because of the way everything fell, so that's why I looked bad." I said, "Okay."
How much do we anticipate getting federal funds?
How much now? We get, except for we're not talking about ESA, but we get about 335,000 in federal funds itself. About what we get, about 335,000.
All at once?
No, they normally, some of it we get monthly, ESA money we get monthly, but now the federal funds, you get it in different stages. And that's why I said we're behind right now. They should have already sent us more money on that.
I did have one question about the check register.
Okay.
On one of the expenses to Cintas. I'm seeing here, and I look back at last month's also, and it was pretty high, but I was just curious about what exactly, our school, and I'm sure it's school-wide, the entire campus, but this month, there's $7,411 worth of Cintas expense. What does that primarily do?
And they supply the lunchroom with some stuff. We also, the mats, I can run you, I tell you what I'll do, I'll run you a printout exactly what it breaks down this month. I ran one about 2 months ago because it was like $5,000 or $6,000 then. Last year, we spent about $50,000, $52,000 or $3,000 with Cintas overall. But we get maintenance supplies, we get lots of different things from them. They don't just do mats, they do a lot of different things. I pulled one last year having to run it when the guy wouldn't give me any money for the sign. And so I ran the thing on it, and we did like $52,000, and I told him, I said, you know, you can either give us some money, or I'm gonna take bids. And they gave us $1,500 for the sign out there. I mean, that's blackmail, I know, but still, when you do $50,000 worth of business with somebody, they should be able to do something to help you a little bit.
Yeah.
And they hadn't been, nobody had ever asked them for anything
Let the
before.
officer left.
You know, I mean, we've gone years spending about that same money, nobody ever asked him for anything. And that guy told me he couldn't do it. He said, the first guy told me he couldn't do it. And I think that's when I was talking to Brooke that day. And he told me he couldn't do it, and I told him, I said, well, now I'm gonna take bids on everything starting July 1 if I'm still here. And he sent his boss up here, and boss come in here, and he said, well, what, he said, I can give you 1,000, I said, I want 2. And he said, really? And he said, well, I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I said, that's when I was interviewing Miss Chapman, who's up here, and I said, tell you what I'll do. I said, I'll split the difference, you can take 1,500. He said, okay, so that's what they did. But, you know, some of these people that you do a lot of business with, they should be able to help you a little bit on stuff like that, scoreboards or whatever, you know. I know right now that the Next gave us $1,000 on toward the sign too, and she asked us, she texted me the other day and wanted to know if there's something else you could do. And I told her, well, I could just see a shirt that says Esports powered by Next. You know, a shirt that said on the back of it. And she said, well, what do you need? And I said, I haven't talked to Mark yet to see what we need, but we probably could need something, so let me know. So, but I will run you a printout on that, and I'll just send you the whole thing, okay?
Sure.
Does anybody else want a copy of that, see what all it is?
Sure, you just send it to
Yeah,
all
you
of
send it
us.
all.
It's all of it, okay? I'll do it. Because it does seem like we should, but by the time you do a lot of your janitorial supplies and lots of other things, and of course I quit doing business with Martin Industrials. We're not buying anything from them anymore.
Anybody have anything else? The other question I had, that I seen was the huddle expense.
Mm-hmm.
Is that yearly?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the home games, right? The app that lets them watch the games.
Broadcast, anybody can watch them.
Did we have to buy that equipment or anything? Or is it?
The equipment was already here, that's just a renewal lease on it.
Okay.
On the bill or have the rights to it, like the software program. I'm trying to see if Mark can pay that for that other rate by asking. He said he'd check into it. It is electronic stuff.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial reports and bills. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Principals reports. Ms. Bradbury?
So we do have our middle of the year Atlas interim scheduled for December 3rd through the 11th. We're kind of, Ms. Braun has kind of spread those out where it's not so stressful for students. However, although this is just our middle of the year one, we do also, the Dibbles, which I know I talked about at the beginning, the screener that we continued even though we didn't have to. I've been watching, they've been progress monitoring, and they've already done the middle of the year assessments on those. And I have seen significant growth on a lot of our students. So just let you know, it's not like we do, the Atlas at the beginning, the screener, and then at the middle and the end. We continually monitor those students who are at risk. Mr. Pendergrass, so kind of jumping to, I don't think I mentioned it before, the STOP grant, shade trees on playgrounds. I'm assuming Mr. Pendergrass applied for that grant because I didn't know anything about it until we received the grant. So we are going to be receiving 5 shade trees, and the ceremony is scheduled for December 11th at 10 a.m. We scheduled a backup date for December 16th. So our students kind of did some research on the best kind of trees to plant for shade trees, so they kind of did a little prior research. I don't think the trees they chose were the ones that we ended up picking, but anyway, so the plan is for the students to help actually plant the trees and dig the holes, but with Mr. Pendergrass's help and the ag students, they'll dig the holes prior, and so our students will help, put the trees in the hole and help fill it back in with dirt. And so, I mean, we won't probably reap the benefits of those ourselves, but hopefully our students, kids and grandkids will. So that's kind of, I appreciate Mr. Pendergrass doing that and applying for that grant. Some other things, but I think Ms. Jones probably has plans of talking about the internet safety training that we had last week, and then one that we have something that we have coming up tomorrow too. So I'll just let her fill in that.
For the high school, I will tell you that we are going to start one-to-one rollout with Chromebooks. Tentatively tomorrow, we're going to start a rollout program trying to get our kids one-to-one. For now, they will not take them home, but they will have a Chromebook that they use throughout the day. They will pick it up from a certain station, they'll use it throughout the day, and they have to return it to that station and plug it in so that it's charged and ready for the next day. I'm not going to go into all the details about it because, Mark can give you much more, better details than I could, and so could Ms. Chapman, but it's going to help us with the rollout of tutoring also, and we'll talk about that, I guess, after we come back from executive session, but we're going to start that rollout tomorrow. And at the high school, we're also having a school-wide meeting tomorrow at about 12:15, right before they go to lunch, where we're going to talk to them about the upcoming tutoring rollout and what that's going to look like for them. So those are some things coming up for the high school. And just, we wanted to mention last week, we had the Keeping Kids Safe Online, and we had approximately 30 people there in attendance. We had good attendance. Even our presenter, Dr. Finley, said she was really impressed for a school our size. One, she commented on the fact that our superintendent was there, and she was very impressed with that. She said, I can't tell you how many times I go to speak to school districts, and she said none of their admin, especially she said to see the superintendent there really speaks volumes about how important this is to your schools.
It scared me to death.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to bring it here.
I mean, it really, I mean, I was sat there and I was just in shock.
Yeah.
And that's why I'd ask you to get a hold of her and have one day of in-service for,
Yes.
at least a half a day of in-service for our staff coming back in the fall.
Right.
And for all our employees,
Yes.
for not just for our classified, I mean, certified, but for classified too, because a lot of them are parents and a lot of them
Yes.
understand, and y'all need to try to make that too, because it's really, I was just amazed. I was just blown away by it.
Yeah, and she had good questions come up at the end. Several parents stayed and talked to her. And the fact that we also had the interpreter there, and our deaf family came, and I could see how interactive they were, asking questions and speaking to her afterwards. So it was really good. It really went
And
well.
you got the interpreter there?
Mhm.
You had the interpreter there? for
She's
that?
also offered her HyperDoc. She said any of our parents are welcome to it, that we can share it with them. She just asked that these things not be posted online or shared out on social media. And her biggest reason is because she said it shouldn't get in the hands of kids. She said, don't want to throw them a challenge flag. And she said it's one thing when you're trying to tell them not to smoke, and then they go out behind grandma's and smoke a cigarette. But she said, we're talking about life or death issues here, and she said, I can't play with that. So tomorrow night, we're hosting our K-3 Parent Literacy Night, where we will be educating the parents on the third grade promotion information. That's part of the new Lyons Act and law. We'll be educating them on that. Our dyslexia interventions is gonna be providing a phonics boot camp to show parents how they can work with their kids at home. And we're also gonna be sharing with them about our new Read With Me program that will kick off this week. And, we're starting that Thursday. We'll be sending home our first books in that program on Thursday, so they'll have them over the holidays.
What time is the meeting tomorrow?
5:30.
5:30. Thank you. Cafeteria?
Yes.
And Miss Brooke is at the ballgame night with the senior boys. After they threatened to throw the whole side out, I told her she probably needs to attend that game. She don't believe it, does she, Miss? That's
It's real.
It was real.
Oh, no, I believe it.
So I don't remember the older guy that come by me after the game, after I was walking out, and he put me on the shoulder, and he said, they'd have trouble throwing the whole side out, wouldn't they? I didn't say anything, I'm going out, I go straight out there and then leave, I've been down, I know the protocol there. If I fight anybody, I go out, and they tell me that.
All right, is that everything? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all.
That brings us to our next item on the agenda, our executive session. We will,
Because we got staff issues we need to talk about.
5:28.
I will turn it on and put on.
Sorry.
Excuse me for just a moment.
You're gonna have that in your head all the time. That's okay.
We lose our superintendent.
You had to stop by the,
He's out.
He walked out the door. Yeah, you're me one.
For me to slide that down here.
it was like you
The
did.
entire stuff.
You know, like a beer motor, you know.
I can't tell my secrets.
Did you ever see that, same thing?
Did you take off dress?
No. There's a couple.
Any word on the game? Has anyone heard?
Ms. Beverly, how long will the meeting tomorrow night last? Will you have any idea?
We've got it down 5:30 to 6:30.
So you got an hour, so we could do that, we can set it for 6:45.
Your phone did go off while you were in the meeting.
Do what now?
Your phone went off while you were
I ain't gonna tell them. Probably is.
Probably his boss.
That's my mom.
Oh.
By the way, where I was at. Why aren't you here? Anyway, sorry.
All right, we'll call the meeting back to order at 6:57. Next item on the agenda is to discuss the HIT grant and positions.
Of course, most of you are familiar with the HIT grant and the high impact tutor. And I've tried to explain kind of the way this thing would work as far as the pool of kids, and most of it's going to be done with the computer and stuff during the wind period, and there are small groups. Do you have any idea how many small groups are going to be divided up in, Ms. Jones?
We just, the groupings came through. Gosh, I don't have them yet because they're locked in. That's what we've been working with the companies with. And matter of fact, the K-3 group is doing assessments Wednesday so that they can get those kids grouped. I mean, I can just tell you off the top of my head, I know for English at the high school, we've got like 149 kids in just the ELA portion. A couple of those kids are 1-to-1. The majority of them are probably 4-to-1. So, but at 145 kids at 4-to-1, that's a bunch. So 10.
So you're talking about 35 to 40 groups
Oh, yeah,
at least.
at least.
Of each one, you're talking about of English or basically
We
language
probably
arts?
got a total of about, I'm thinking between English and math, we probably got 35 to 40 groups total. Yeah, and that's just, I'm thinking just at the high school. That's not including 4 through 6 over here, and then K-3. So, yeah, that's just my numbers off the top of my head for the high school.
Anyway, I would recommend that you hire Mason Jones for this position, the tutoring position. And I don't exactly know how that they've worked out the aid situation yet, but I'll leave that assignment up to the principals on the aid thing, if it's all right.
Have a recommendation?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to hire Mason Jones as the high impact tutor. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. Also, next, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Next item is recommendation for the staff Christmas bonus.
I recommend that you do what you did last year as far as $1,000 for the Christmas bonus. And also, for everyone that is full-time. And the ones that are not full-time, do a percentage of the $1,000. Bus driver, I think we got one bus driver that, would get, normally, I think you give him $250 last year, and that's probably what we do. It doesn't work anywhere else.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the recommendation for the staff Christmas bonuses. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is the recommendation for the bookkeeper, assistant bookkeeper, high school and elementary secretaries.
These people here are the ones that input everything into your data for everything, for all your federal programs, for all your state programs, and then they put it in there, and then it's sent over here, and they digest it and put it back out, and that's where all their funding comes from. And I would recommend that you give all four of those $2,000 increase in salary.
Have a motion?
And when that comes out, that's that point, that's that .0359% that we can take out of federal program that's called indirect costs.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for the recommendation for the bookkeeper, assistant bookkeeper, high school and elementary secretary salaries. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item is discuss Christmas in service.
The Christmas in service, I've asked Ms. Bradbury and Ms. Brooke to try to figure out when we can have it, what time it'll be, and I think we could probably have it in our cafeteria. I just don't want any of our cooks or anything having to cook for it. I want everybody to be at this. I think it'd be important that we bring not only us, but that we bring our spouses with us and bring them to this. I think that they've got some fun things planned. From what I'm hearing, the whispering around, they've got some fun things planned. And I've even been asked a certain question that I said yes to. But anyway, that's beside the point right now. But I just wanted to make sure that when we get the date out, we're gonna send you all invitations to when this will be, and we'd like to see everybody on board there.
Okay.
I would say every employee we got and their spouses come. And there'll be no charge for spouses. Last year, I think they charged for spouses. They're not, charge for spouses.
All right. Next item is to discuss hazard pay for staff.
I kicked that around a little bit, and right now I'd just like to leave that alone today.
Okay. Was there something under other?
Yes, there's that CD, that OD, it's a $25,000 added to the separate, get it out here. It's the OD scholarship, another $25,000. And what the bank wants to do is put that in a CD, and the only ones that can get out of the three that's listed on that. And it said that that's the superintendent, the two of the signatures, board secretary or district treasurer, have to have two of the three to get it out. And we just like to approve that where we can put that CD in there, where we put that in a CD. And it's separate than the other OD scholarship.
Okay, so we need to have a motion to approve the OD scholarship CD for $25,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Anything else?
I don't have anything else, Mr. President.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
6:30 tomorrow night, I'll schedule this meeting for us, okay? And